Two, one. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to CBJ Sports. We're live on Twitch. We post to YouTube every single week. I'm Blake. We got Josh, Billy, and CJ. I kind of have a new setup this week, so that's why I look a little bit different. But this week, we're going to talk NFL, MLB free agency, the draft, everything that happened, what's going to happen in free agency. And first, we're going to start off with a little Olympic talk because we heard from some viewers that we want to talk about the Olympics. And I'm just going to give an update about medals and all of that. And we can talk about it as a group after about big events that have happened. The USA is second in gold medals right now with 20 behind China. But overall medals, they're in first with 37. They have 21 silver and 15 bronze. First, we can talk about basketball and the basketball team. They're going to be a top 4 seed. They do have the one loss. Then they'll be joining France, Australia, and Lucas Slovenia team as the top 4. And I mean, my question is, do you think this team's actually going to win gold?
I've definitely seen improvement throughout the games you've watched. That first game, we sat there and we watched and it was like 1v1. It wasn't team basketball at all. The more they've played, definitely getting Booker, Middleton, and Drew Holiday there really helped. Kind of all around build that team, give it a little perimeter defense, and I think it all comes down to can they beat the team they lost to, and it's gonna. I see them winning. I think they're gonna get the gold, but I don't think it's gonna be easy as a lot of people think.
Yeah. Before anyone else goes, I think that this team is woken up. I think the rotation has gotten set. I think that I don't know. I think this team is playing team basketball now. And if the team plays team basketball, no one in the world can guard Kevin Durant, and no one in the world can almost guard anyone else on that team one-on-one. I If this team's playing at full potential, I think they win gold by 20 if they play that France team again. It's just if that team gets rolling.
It really just like KD's got to realize that like not one person in there can guard him, and there's just gonna be moments in the game where you're gonna have to take over. Like he dropped the other night, 25-28, something like that. Like he's just gonna have to take over, and nobody's gonna be able to guard him. That's what you gotta do. You're the best player in the world.
Josh?
Yeah, I don't know if it was like they were having a long-lasting jet lag or something from having to fly all the way to Tokyo, but you can definitely tell that they're finally starting to settle in, play as a team. Shot percentages have gone way up. So I think it's definitely going to come down to beat that team that they lost to, and if they shooting better than what they have when they played them the first time, so I think they'll win.
Yeah. The women's team led by Asia Wilson and Sue Bird, they're going to go for their 7th gold medal in a row. I don't think anyone's going to be able to play with that team as they beat Japan by almost 20, and that was like the second best team there. And Katie Ledecky keeps her gold medal. And the baseball team looks like they're not going to be stopped, led by guys like Eddie Alvarez and Tristan Casas, who's a Red Sox, one of my favorite players. That's a prospect. Anyone else have any big events they've seen or anything to look forward to?
Yeah,
Just
I think the only
Oh.
other name that really stands out right now is Caleb Dressel on the swimming team right now, setting all these world records and all these gold medals, coming back from like 4th place, crazy comebacks in the final lap.
Yeah, that was mine. Him setting the 50-meter freestyle with that 21-second one and winning his 5th gold medal.
Yeah,
I was about to say if I was gonna give a Olympic MVP so far, it'd go to Caleb Dressel.
Caleb Dressel. I mean, this swimming, everyone that's won gold as a swimmer in the U.S., I mean, it looks like they just can't be touched. And when it comes to the final, and it's good to see America doing good in sports because that's where we deserve to be, is the top of the totem pole, as they'll try to catch China in golds throughout the week. But starting off in the NBA, Thursday the draft happened. As we saw, I posted on TikTok, on Instagram. Billy got the top 5 perfect. I'm sure he'll give you a little cute little smile on camera. But we're going to talk about the picks and everything that happened and move into a little bit of free agency. The first question is the best fit pick, and I want to start it because it's a guy when we were at work when the draft happened. but the best fit pick for me was a guy that I thought should have went higher, and a lot of scouts thought were going to go higher, is Moses Moody. And Moses Moody ended up in Golden State. And I think that should scare a lot of teams because Moses Moody is a guy that can shoot at a high clip from the three. He's a guy that can create his own shot. He's a good dribbler. And I don't think people realize how NBA ready he looked at Arkansas and how good that Arkansas basketball team. I think he fits really well in Golden State.
Yeah, that's who I got. I got Moses Moody going to Golden State. I think he just gives them good bench depth. If not, maybe he'll get some starts during the season. But
Yeah,
like you said, he can
especially-
do everything. He can put the ball on the floor, get to the hoop. He can shoot.
Especially at the two if they keep him there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of weird that he fell, even though I had him going here anyways. I really like Jalen Suggs to the Magic. I think that's a team that could use some guard help right now. And it's a team that's really young at this day and time. And give him a couple of years to grow. Markel, if he's still there. Mo Bamba, if the franchise can not hate him for 1 year. And just see what this young core can come
Yeah.
to.
Before Josh goes, I want to say I think the reason I didn't take Jalen Suggs is because I worded it in the best fit. Because that's a third point guard. We saw what Cole Anthony did throughout the year. Markelle Fultz was a triple-double guy before he got hurt. Like, Markelle Fultz was living up to the potential of the number one pick in Orlando there this year before he got hurt. I just don't know where Jalen Suggs is going to fit in.
The way I saw it is kind of like almost kind of like a Cavs when they drafted Garland and Sexton, that two combo guard type of.
Yeah, if anyone
Lineup
gets benched,
going
it's
out.
Cole Anthony. But, like,
Yeah, and that's the way I saw it. I think it's a team that really needs that second guard in the starting lineup. And I thought that's where I thought he would fit really well, whether it's maybe playing a little bit of an off ball too, or just seeing where you. I just like it.
yeah, Josh.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like best fit, like Jalen Suggs, yeah, it's crazy how he fell at 5, but I think people are still really trying to figure out like what's his main role going to be, like where he's going to fit. But Moses Moody, he's going to come in probably with Golden State after when Clay and Steph are on the bench. He's going to come in and hit some threes and keep the bench points and keep that lead up, help Golden State.
Yeah. Moving on from best fit to who do you think is going to play the best in the rookie of the year? It's very early, but I think for me, there was a guy that popped out instantly when I wrote this down, and it was a guy I kind of hated on. I didn't think he was going to get picked here, but Evan Mobley at 3. I think if Cleveland does move on from Jared Allen, this guy's an instant starter. He can put up stats fast, and I think he's going to do it early in the season. I think he's going to play so well right as soon as he gets in the league that he's going to be like that Ben Simmons where he played so good early that it's not going to matter if someone pops off at the end of the year. He already had won the award. I think Evan Mobley would be rookie of the year.
Yeah, that's who I got down. I think even if they do start Jarrett Allen, he might start, he might not, but he's going to get time with Sexton if he's still there and Garland. I mean, he can run the floor with them and get up and down the court. So that's just going to be a good combo to have in Cleveland.
CJ agreeing with me? That's crazy.
I hate to be boring, but for me, it's just got to be Cade Cunningham.
Ooh.
He is already the number 1 or 2 scoring option there, probably 2, but he's bringing the ball up the court. He's going to have every chance to get the stats that he needs for that rookie of the year in a system that really is going to be relying on him a lot in his first year.
Yeah, I like the Cade Cunningham too. I think he would be a really good prediction there. But another thing I meant to mention with the best fit, it's kind of a sleeper with Luke Garza pairing up with Cade Cunningham. You're going to have Cade Cunningham, who's going to be out there being the number 1 scorer. But I think not Luke Garza as a starter. I think coming off the bench, he's going to be a guy that's going to help him keep the points rolling when Cade Cunningham and all them are off the court.
Yeah, and I mean, as we wrap up that segment, I think this is where the first year of the draft is fun because last year we didn't get to see these guys in the summer league. In the summer league, you get to see young guys start and see what they do against NBA talent. I think it's going to be fun to watch all these rookies get going as summer league is about to get started. the Russell Westbrook trade happened this week. I'm trying to think of everything that was involved. It was the first-round pick, Montrezl Harrell, Kyle Kuzma, was there-
KCP.
Or
And K-
KCP.
KCP.
and KCP as Russell moves from Washington to LA. And the question is it a W or an L? And I know my first reaction, Billy was there, was that they can't shoot. But when I was writing down my notes, I changed it. I put W down in the sense of aggression and just the mentality of Russell Westbrook, and knowing that the Lakers are going to get shooters in free agency, knowing the Lakers aren't done with this team. They know they can't shoot at the moment. They know they have to get better pieces. But Russell Westbrook is a guy that can take the pressure off LeBron. Last year, LeBron didn't have that. LeBron had to bring the ball up the court. He had to make the decision of where the ball goes. Yes, Anthony Davis had to score it, but Anthony Davis isn't passing the ball or getting his teammates open. Russell can come in and do that. He can get to the rim. He can score for the Lakers team. I think this trade has to be a W for the team. If it's not done,
It's definitely a W for the Lakers because everybody thinks Russell's not that shooter that they needed, but you got to think they got rid of two shooters. There weren't even really two shooters for the Lakers, but they traded and solidified that point guard position. I think Wizards definitely lost out a lot on this trade, big time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go with the W, but I won't say it just yet until they get shooters, honestly.
Just a quick question. Do they have to pay AD this year, don't they?
I don't know.
Is it next year? Is it this year, next
He's
year?
not a free agent if that's what you're talking about.
it's
Okay,
got to be
next
next year. It's got to be next year. Yeah.
Okay, but I think it's impossible to say it's a L. Like, I think you hear the name Russell Westbrook and LeBron together, you can't go, oh, well, that's just sad. No, I mean, it's still two really good players. And like CJ said, I'm not going to call it an L, but I don't think it's a surefire W
Yeah.
until they get those shooters in there, because that's a lot of money between two players.
Yeah, I think that's why I went with W, because I know Pelinka's not done. We all know the Lakers have money hidden away. They just lost the Montrezl Harrell, Kyle Kuzma, and KCP contract. So just signing Russell Westbrook isn't going to put them over. I think, like we said last night, I think Melo is the guy they go after. And there's plenty of guys that can stand on the three-point line and shoot the ball left in free agency.
J.R. Smith.
I think the Lakers are going to get plenty of those guys to fill up the rotation.
Now, if they do go and sign DeMar DeRozan, that's when I'm going to start having some questions about the whole shooting thing.
Yeah. Talking about the trade deadline, I'm going to give everyone a chance to give one or two trades that they think is going to happen this week or help their team or any aspect of that. For me, I went Bulls. The reports are Rose and Lonzo at the moment. I just read a tweet before we started the podcast that the Bulls have came out and said that they don't just want Lonzo. They want Lonzo and Rose, and they're going to move Tomas Satoransky and Thaddeus Young for them. And I think that's going to help defensively and offensively for the Bulls a lot. I think that makes them a playoff team. And I wrote down the second team in the Knicks, and I just said a big name center. I think the Knicks' last big piece is that guy that can get rebounds consistently and doesn't even have to score. Just get the rebounds and give it to Julius Randle or whoever's playing point. I think that's who the Knicks have to go after.
Yeah, I want to see De'Aaron Fox get shipped out of Sacramento. Either my two teams that I have down would be the Sixers or the Celtics. That would be my best destinations for him to go. But I also have Hornets getting a center who I don't know, but a center that can run the court with their young core.
Cody Zeller's younger brother.
See LiAngelo working out with the Hornets the other day.
Yeah. He's going to play on the Summer League team.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
But I have the Sixers, I think, definitely have to make a move for that point guard position. And I think they either go for De'Aaron Fox or they go for, I don't know what the talk is with Dame. Is he staying? Is he not?
I think Dame's staying.
But I think Sixers definitely need a point guard.
I'd take Kyle Lowry.
I'm gonna go with a report I saw today, as a matter of fact. But Kyle Lowry to the Heat. It's a weird one, but it's like I read a couple reports where they signed Dragic for a possible sign and trade with the Raptors, and
Oh,
sitting there, it's,
he's a free agent.
yeah, but the Raptors are gonna sign and trade both
Yeah.
ways. Sign
Yeah,
Lowry.
Oh,
Heat are front runners right now for Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, and
Go.
it's a weird fit, but at the same time, it's something that I feel like needs to happen. They need that true point guard down there and to help solidify that starting rotation, I feel like.
See, don't you can't disrespect Goran Dragic like that because sometimes he's the only guy putting up 25.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong, but
We're not gonna act like Goran Dragic isn't like. I think he's played a little bit better than Kyle Lowry over the last year and a half. I think Kyle
It's
Lowry's
street-
the better pass point guard. But as we were talking about Kyle Lowry, I saw after that the Bulls might do a sign and trade with Lowry to the Thunder or Spurs. Those are the two top teams for Lowry. But that the Pelicans are going to throw all their money at Kyle Lowry. And I was like, I feel so bad because Zion wants out. I don't know when Biaz's contract runs up, but the Pelicans are falling apart after getting the best player maybe in college basketball history the last decade.
definitely the most hyped ever.
Yeah, and Zion's playing all-star level his first year two. I mean, I just feel so bad for him as he's trapped in New Orleans right now, and they're throwing money at Kyle Lowry to play point guard. I just don't know.
I
Anyone
don't think
else
anybody knows what to do with the Pelicans.
Yeah.
I mean, Pelicans
Hey,
are
but
the Diamondbacks at MLB, bro.
I would say at least it's not the Texans.
As
Or
we
Texas.
move on, as Josh said, Diamondbacks, we move on to the MLB. Free agency happened this week. I mean, baseball
The
dynamic.
agency or the trade deadline?
The trade deadline. But the aspect of baseball and just teams, rosters look completely different now. Stars moving everywhere. This might have been the craziest deadline in the last decade for the MLB. And the first question is the pickup that means the most. And I want to start with maybe the biggest trade, Max Scherzer to LA. I think Max Scherzer's going to be the second ace on that team behind Kershaw. I think maybe even first on that rotation. I think that rotation turns into a championship caliber rotation.
I don't think Kershaw.
I hate to interrupt you, but I don't know. I don't know if that means the most out of anything. Out of all the free agents, that doesn't mean the most. LA has one of the best pitching rotations in the league. So how does that mean the most?
You didn't let me get.
I'll let you finish.
When you get to the playoffs, I think this other team's a walk into the playoffs, but you get in those series, those first series, and I mean, once you get down to the 4-5 pitcher, teams don't have guys that are going to match up with Max Scherzer, or even if he's the third, some teams don't have a third in the playoffs that's going to match up with Max Scherzer, who is an ace in this league, a top 3 pitcher in the game. I think that's what broke it down for me. And once they get to a World Series, that could be a reason they win a championship because they get to pitch Max Scherzer day 3. And that's why I took him, because the Dodgers needed that one game in the World Series to get them that ring.
I took Starlin Marte to the A's. I think it just gives them more offensive power at the plate and just all around.
I got Anthony Rizzo to the Yankees. Anthony Rizzo comes in, hits a bomb his first and second game. Anthony Rizzo brings the life and energy that Yankees have been missing right before this last push for the playoffs. And this is exactly what Yankees needed to make that push. Energy and life.
Mainly because I refuse to give the Dodgers any type of credit ever. I'm going with Chris Bryant to the Giants. I think that's a team that really could use that extra power bat in that lineup, and for a team that's already got a star-studded rotation, I think having that one guy that can get you those runs at any possible point in the game is going to be huge, especially later in the season.
I definitely agree. There's a lot of big names. I want to throw mine. Kyle Schwarber to the Red Sox. I think it helps us a lot. It makes the lineup almost, as a pitcher, you don't know who to pitch to. If you have Kyle Schwarber in that 5-hole, I think the Red Sox are going to have to win big games down the stretch to get that World Series team motivation with Chris Sale back. But as we move on to the World Series, matchup prediction as we roll closer to October. I mean, I'm gonna let CJ go first, but who do you have in the World Series and why?
I have the Dodgers in the A's, and I have Dodgers in 6. And I put they definitely by far have the better rotation than bullpen. And that's what's going to win the World Series.
Billy?
I'm going to keep my prediction the same still from a couple of weeks ago. I'm going A's and Padres, and I'll take the A's in 6.
Josh?
I'm gonna go A's and Dodgers. We all gonna say A's?
No, not me. I'm going to go Red Sox, Dodgers. I think getting Chris Sale back, Kyle Schwarber in that lineup, you just don't know who to pitch to in that Red Sox lineup. Like I was telling Billy, you start off with Kike, who's a power hitter as a leadoff. Then you go to X. Then you go to Debbie, JD, Kyle Schwarber, or Dougie, Hunter Renfroe. I mean, everyone in the lineup can hit nukes. Bobby Dahl back. I mean, everyone. You just don't know who to pitch to, and they get Chris Sale back. It makes the rotation better once you get to the playoffs. If Chris Sale's max energy and ready to go, if it's Chris Sale we know and love, that's why I took the Red Sox, because if they can get fully healthy, I don't think anyone can beat them in a 7-game series. And I mean, the Dodgers are my other team, and that team is loaded. And yes, it's going to be Mookie Betts versus the Red Sox in a World Series. And I'm going to have to take the Dodgers to win it in 6. But it's just, I don't think anyone's going to be able to hit this Dodgers team in a series like that. They just have too much pitching and too much bat talent for anyone to keep up. I think the Dodgers win it in 6, and it's not really close.
I want to go back to my notes with the best pickup, whatever, and I had Starlin Marte, and then the other one was Trey Turner. I said, just not fair. That's all I thought.
I just think this Dodgers team is loaded at every position and pitching. We just forget Albert Pujols comes off the bench or when he plays and hits nukes every at bat, and he's 40? I mean, this team just is it's not great to watch, but it's definitely fun to watch because that team hits bombs. They have Trevor, well, not right now, but
yeah, Walker Buehler.
Yeah, Walker Buehler. They have really good pitching, but I think the Dodgers are going to win the World Series. And the last question is, what team got? I worded this in a way that
Very weird. I
felt like dumb, but I said, what team got the most better and why? But I'm gonna let CJ go first and go in the same order.
I'm going back to what Billy said. I have the Giants adding Chris Bryant to the lineup. Big power bat. They already got a good rotation. That's just more offense power you got.
Once again, if you said Dodgers or Giants, screw them.
Yeah.
Oh, did Billy say team or?
No, you said Giants.
I don't know who really got the most, but I really like what Yankees did. Joey Gallo's not really showing anything right now, but I'm gonna go Yankees. I really like Anthony Rizzo to the Yankees.
And I'm gonna keep it the same as my pickup that means the most. I'm gonna keep it Dodgers, full rotation, strong ace guys. Trey Turner's a superstar at the shortstop position. He can play everywhere. I mean, I think this team's a championship team, as I said, and I don't think anyone's going to be able to play with them once we go down the stretch, like the Padres, the Giants in that division. I went Dodgers. As we move on to the NFL, we have the players, top NFL players, 91 through 100 coming out today. I'm going to make a post on Instagram, on Twitter, and everyone can go tell us how they feel. We won't really go against guys like NFL Network and make really bad lists, in my opinion, every single year, and it's kind of hard to watch. So we want to give the people a little bit better list and actually have the top 100 players in this list. You can go follow us on Insta, Twitter, and TikTok, as I said, at CBJ Sports. And you'll be able to see them later today.
And our top 100 is based off stats and not by name.
Yes, stats and value to the team is really what we went off of, and we'll be posting every single week as we go down 10 every single week. Next, first question in the NFL is the top favorite NFL players ever. And this is going to be really a segment to get to know us because I know the Nortons are going to have a lot of Bills guys. I'm going to have a lot of Panthers guys. And Billy's probably going to have a lot of Dolphins or guys that we don't know. Is that my feeling of what Billy's going to have is top five. But as we can start at five and go around the table, this is the only name that is not a Panther for me. And I know you are going to hate him because you hate him. But it's crazy that I got to watch him play quarterback. I grew up in his prime pretty much. Tom Brady is my fifth greatest favorite player ever. I watched Tom Brady play.
I meant to tell you, we're gonna do a top 5 hated list next week too.
I think
His name will come back up.
I got to watch the GOAT play football my entire childhood through high school, through now, which is crazy. Yes. I mean, he's so easily hated. He did so much wrong, but it's crazy what he can do with the football, and he has to be on this list for me because I watched him do it for so long. CJ?
What are we naming? Our fifth or
Five.
just
Fifth.
Five.
five? All right, I
Five.
got Stevie Johnson from the Bills. By the way, I got all Bills players, but I got Stevie Johnson. It was around 2013, 15 air. Nobody really heard of him, but he's one of the great Bills receivers.
Yeah, I got 4 Bills players, and this is one of them. I got Fred Jackson in Buffalo. Fred Jackson was a running back who stayed in Buffalo through all the bad years and never wanted to leave. He loved Buffalo and still associated with Buffalo to this day.
So I guess I'm the only one that only has three. I only have 3 Dolphins. But I'm gonna let you know.
Fan.
I'm gonna let you know, Blake. Brian Hartline didn't make the list. Yeah,
That's
but 5 is Jarvis Landry. I grew up. That's who when I really got to watching NFL every week. That was who I saw leading the Dolphins games and receiving yards every game. And still to this day, I love watching him. One of the best route runners, one of the most underrated route runners, and he's really good still in Cleveland. So.
Yep, and as we move on to 4, this is going to be a little bit snub to me. This was really hard because the rest are Panthers players for me, and this is where it got tough. Besides 1, I think 2 through 4 for me is like a really jumbled up mess. 4 is Luke Kuechly for me. To me, he's the greatest linebacker I've ever seen play football. He's a quarterback at the linebacker position. He knows plays before they're coming. I mean, Luke Kuechly is the reason we went to that Super Bowl for me defensively. And that's why Luke Kuechly is my 4.
I got Aaron Williams from the Bills. He was a safety. Going back to what Billy said, one reason why I hate Jarvis Landry with a passion is because blindside hit him and broke his neck and ended his career. And he was the honey badger
top
of Jamal
safety in
Adams
the league.
before Jamal Adams were even in the NFL. I mean, he was just a dog when he stepped on that football field.
Definitely left the game way too early. But at number 4, I have Stevie Johnson, who CJ had at number 5. Stevie Johnson was one of those receivers that stayed in Buffalo through all the hard times, and he was the number 1 receiver for Buffalo.
Okay, going to my first of non-Dolphins. Still in the league today, love him to death. Larry Fitzgerald, number 4, is just all reliable. Doesn't get any more consistent than Larry Fitzgerald in terms of everything he does for a team, and speaks for himself.
I like this. I like this segment because it gives the viewers a chance to see who we grew up on playing football and guys that we thought were really good and people just didn't talk about. And this is where this name comes in for me. This is my – I mean, I almost could have put him at 1 because this is what I grew up on when I went to Panthers games. 3 for me is Jake Delhomme. He's, if not for Cam, the greatest Panthers quarterback of all time. He led the Panthers to their first Super Bowl with Moose Muhammad and Steve Smith. I mean, he came back and beat the Rams in the NFC Championship with Steve Smith. He almost took down the Patriots, who were reigning over football. People just forget how good Jake Delhomme was in Carolina because he had to move on and went to Cleveland and didn't play well at all. For me, I saw Jake Delhomme at his peak, and that's why he's my 3.
At my 3, I don't have 4 Bills. At my 3, I have Peyton Manning. The reason why that is because not a big Tom Brady.
Sheriff.
not a not a big Tom Brady fan, and Peyton Manning always beat up on Tom Brady every once in a while.
Should have took Eli.
Cooper.
They like Peyton Manning. At number 3, you guys, but nobody ever probably has this guy on their list. But I grew up playing Little League football. I think Billy might have been on that team. I wore number 93 because of Dwight Freeney for the Colts, that edge rusher. I grew up watching him and loved his spin move and I played defense at the time, and that's who I grew up watching and loved him.
All right, going to my second of non-Dolphins and the last one. To me, personally, top 2, 3 linebacker of all time. My dad probably be proud of me saying this, but it's Brian Urlacher. I loved watching Brian Urlacher play. Such a downhill force. Played pass really well. Stopped the run. Took people's heads off. Somebody could just sit there and, like Blake said about Kuechly, was the captain, was the quarterback of that defense for so long, and just deserves every award he ever got.
And like I said after the last time, I think this is really cool because it gives me even a chance to see guys that I didn't know that they love and that they've watched forever. And 2, for me, is a name that I think everyone knows. Smitty, the agent, 89, Steve Smith. He's the greatest Panthers receiver in history. He's the smallest, maybe my greatest slot ever. I grew up on him. I had a jersey when I was a kid. I think Steve Smith's got to be 2, just because of how great 1 is for me. That's why Steve Smith's 2.
2, I got Bruce Smith, the best defensive player ever, and I don't think anybody's gonna surpass him in any stat category ever, and that's why I have him at 2.
Number 2, I might get a lot of hate for this. Probably one of the most hated players in NFL probably ever at the time, Richie Incognito. Once I got into my middle school and high school days, Richie Incognito, Bills acquired Richie Incognito, and he was just a headhunter, wanting to pancake every single play. And I loved that. And that's when I became on the O-line, and I inspired that. I wanted to be like him.
My number 2, greatest Dolphins running back. No questions asked. It's Ricky
Miles
Williams.
Gaskin.
Ricky Williams. Love the dude to death. Just ran with such a force that no one tackler was going to bring Ricky Williams down. And he's just...
Yeah, I won't allow the disrespect to Ricky Williams. I just won't allow. Are you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
Moving on to 1, I think a lot of you guys know, viewers maybe not. I had to sit there and watch us win 3 games in the football season. I watched us earn a number 1 pick, and then I watched people hate on this kid coming out of college, winning a championship at Auburn. Cameron Savell Newton changed my view of Panther football. He made me think that the Panthers could actually be good ever since Jake Delhomme took us to a Super Bowl. And he did something that a lot of people didn't think was possible and took a team with no offense to the Super Bowl. I think Cam Newton is my 1 just because of what he meant to Carolina. And it's crazy that he's still playing today, but in New England.
Only if he would have dove on that football.
Yeah, he's still 1
now. Number 1 for me is why I started playing football is one of the greatest Bills kick returner, punt returner specialists is Roscoe Parrish from Miami.
Yeah, about him.
I mean, just a dog, dude. And even in the 2 and 3 win seasons growing up, I mean, every week he's returning an 80, 90-yard kickoff to the crib.
Roscoe Parrish was legit. I forgot about him, to be honest. You even have a jersey of him. My number 1, of course, I'm sure everybody's going to Josh Allen. Bill's last time they made playoffs was when I was born in 1999, and we spent exactly 19, 20 years searching for a quarterback. Through all these tough times, I've been there every single year, and we finally found that quarterback in Josh Allen. So he's going to be my number 1 favorite player.
Going back to what Josh said about the reason Richie Incognito was the reason he became offensive lineman, it's the same reason I wanted to be a center. And my number 1 goes to Mike Pouncey. Love Mike Pouncey. He was the most consistent offensive lineman that the Dolphins have probably ever had in his prime. He was there every snap, played every game. I hated it when we got rid of him. He's the reason I wanted to be an offensive lineman and a center at that too.
Yep, and that will wrap up the top 5 favorite players. I wanted to do that to give everyone a little insight to how we feel about players, our favorite players ever. We're going to try to go through and do that with MLB, NBA throughout the weeks. But we're going to move on to a segment that I think is going to start. I don't want to say it, but I think it's going to start a lot of arguments. I don't think we're going to agree on a lot of these. When I was looking at it last night, I knew that y'all would probably think we might agree on a lot, but I think we're all going to be very different with these answers. We're going to go through and have our best offense and defense for each division. This is going to take a little bit longer probably, but I think it's going to be good to give everyone an outlook of this NFL season and how competitive it's going to be in each division. As we start off in my division, the NFC South, and I mean, before anyone goes, we're going to go offense, defense, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you that this is going to be a hot take.
Dude, say the Panthers, please, dear God.
The offense is the Carolina Panthers, and here's my reasoning. No team in the division has 2 1,000-yard receivers. The Bucks only have Mike Evans. The Saints only have Mike Thomas. The Falcons only have Calvin Ridley. The Panthers have the best running back in the division, and the only question mark you can give me is Sam Darnold. And Tom Brady didn't play well last year. The Saints don't have a quarterback. We don't know how good Jameis is going to be, and the only one that's better is Matt Ryan. I think the Panthers' offensive line is a lot better, and the rest of the wide receivers besides DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson have proven they can play, and that's why I took the Panthers. The Panthers are going to be one of the best offensive teams in the NFL. And defensively, I went with a team that won the Super Bowl. I went with the Bucks. The reason they won the Super Bowl. The Bucks have the best front 7 in football. Antoine Winfield at safety. The corners are very good. I had to go Bucks for defense.
I mean, they did put up 31. I mean,
against one corner.
Offense, I'm going Bucks. That's the best talent-wise. I'm going Bucks defense and offense. That's the best talent-wise roster in the NFL by a long shot. I mean, that offense is something serious, and that defense is something serious too.
Blake, you know I love Sam Darnold. You know I hope he.
It wasn't off of Sam Darnold.
I know.
Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette to the same human are not better than Christian McCaffrey. DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson put up 1,000 together. 2,000 yards as 2 receivers.
But I don't think I love.
It's Mike Evans though, and Chris Godwin.
That is
Rob
a
Gronkowski.
huge, Sam Darnold
And Tom
is
Brady.
A huge
Let's
question.
Tom Brady did not
Tom
play
Brady.
good. Let's not act like Tom
He did
Brady
what he
played
needed
good.
to do.
Let's not.
So
Yeah,
let's
but
not
let's
act
not,
like Sam
let's
Darnold
not-
played good either. I mean,
Sure. We know what division he was in and what team he was on, so don't give me that. Don't
All right,
give me that.
so he's still a question mark. Whereas Tom
exactly.
Brady is.
We
just
know
him
where
on
Tom
the
Brady
other
can win a
position.
Super Bowl because he did.
Yeah, we also know
with the
Tom
same
Brady can
team.
throw 44% under pressure rating every year. And I mean,
Shit,
you're the one that calls him Mr. Checkdown. That's all he does. He doesn't throw deep balls. He throws terrible
Does what he
under
needs to do.
pressure. They give him an offensive line. Like,
I mean, I hate Tom Brady.
This is
and all, but
predicting the
I got
2021
Bucks.
season.
As soon as
when
Blake
Sam
said
Darnold
Tom
has
Brady
his
doesn't
best
throw
year.
a deep ball, the first thing I thought about was that 40-yard bombing through Scotty Miller on a dime.
Right before
Yeah, against
half.
the worst corner on the Packers roster and maybe in the NFC. Yeah, good job.
that was the Bucks' 4th string.
Yeah, the
wide
reason we
receiver.
said the Packers defense sucks in a couple podcasts ago. Good
I mean,
argument.
let's be honest. Nobody knew Scotty Miller before the season, right? Nobody.
We can't. But Tom Brady's stats are good.
I'm going with the most consistent of the teams, and that's Bucks both ways.
That's why I got Bucks both ways.
Yeah, I'm going Bucks both ways. They didn't lose nobody. You know what they're going to do. It's not like they're going to come out and win 3 games. You know what they're going to do. They're going to be back where they were last year.
This is why I started with the argument. I matched up at positions. Of course, you do not have to agree with me. This is off going into 2021. I don't think anyone's
It's your opinion.
I don't think anyone's going to be ready for this Panthers offense is going to do this year. That is my reasoning. Moving on to the NFC East. The offense, I went with the Cowboys. Dak Prescott was an MVP guy. I think Zeke's going to play well. He had 900 yards last year. Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. I mean, this offense for the Cowboys is crazy. CeeDee Lamb, it's going to be the best offense in the NFC East by a landslide. And defense, I went with the easy one. I went with Washington, Chase Young, Kendall Fuller. I think that team's really, really good. I think defensively, Washington might be the best defense in the NFL.
I think this might
Okay.
be one of the easiest divisions to pick. Your Cowboys get the most talent offensively by a long shot in that division.
Yeah.
And we all know Washington's defense is top tier in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
it's-
got Dallas and Washington. I think Dallas had top 5 receiving core in the league, and Washington's got one of the best D lines and secondaries in the league.
I mean, Dak might throw for 6,000 yards last year if he didn't get hurt. So,
Billy, you agree?
Yeah, 100%.
So the first division we agree on. The NFC North is next. And this might be a hot take also. For the offense, I'm going with the final dance. I'm going to go with the Packers. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the league, maybe the best wide receiver in the league. I put him at 2. And defensively, I went with the Bears. I think that team is really good defensively. Khalil Mack, Roquan Smith. I mean, guys off the corners, safeties. I mean, everywhere. The Bears are really, really aggressive. They're tactical. They have a good D coordinator. Matt Nagy knows the defense well. I think defensively, I had to go Bears.
Yeah, I don't really think it's a debate. I got Green Bay Bears.
you said hot take. I thought you were about to take Kirk Cousins on the offense. But
I did too.
I didn't know if anyone was going with the
like, no
Packers
way.
off of knowing
Yeah.
who was playing or not.
It's definitely Packers offense. And I mean, based on with the O line, I mean, I think Jordan Love can come in and still. I wouldn't say he's definitely not going to do the same thing Aaron Rodgers does, but the offense is still going to be there with the run game. And I got Packers defense.
Okay. But yeah, I went with going back to what Josh said. I went with the Packers offense because, like I said, Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, great. But that O line is what makes that team. That's what allows Aaron Rodgers to be great like he is. And defensively, one with the Bears, they're just every position. There isn't much of a weakness on that defense. Maybe a little bit in the secondary, but that front seven's one of the best that you can see in the NFL.
You know, I was kind of having a brain aneurysm for a second because I was trying to think of how to say the tackle for the Packers, and almost was gonna like make a joke like David Bacardi and just roll with it.
How about
I was like, that's not how
dude
you
chugging
say
beer
it.
at Bucks games?
I was like, that's not how you say it. So I was just like, whatever, I'm just gonna move on. But the NFC West, I think this is a toss-up with a lot of good teams. Offensively, I'm going to go Cardinals. I think Kyler Murray's one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch in the NFL. D-Hop's a really good, the best receiver in the NFL. And defensively, I'm going to go the Rams. Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald. That defense may be, if not the best defense in the NFL. I'm going to go Cardinals, Rams.
Who's the 4th team in that division? I can think of Seahawks, Rams, and
49ers.
yeah, that's it.
I was going to go 49ers for defense, but I changed.
Yeah, offense, I have the Seahawks. I just think that offense has been good for a while. And Russell Wilson, Chris Carson coming back, Tyler Lockett still never gets the appreciation he deserves. DK is going to be due for a bigger year. And I just that team can put 35 on you before you even know it. And then defense, I really didn't personally think it was that close. The Rams are, to me, super talented defense that can just shut you out at any given point in time.
I think I was going to go Niners off linebacking core, but I switched off knowing how good Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald were. So Rams.
Yeah, I got Seahawks offense. They're always one of the top offenses in the league, and I took the Rams defense.
I got Rams offense. I think Rams offense is got a lot of weapons with definitely with Matthew Stafford coming there, and then I got 49ers defense. I don't think everybody really doesn't. 49ers last year, I don't think I've ever seen in any sport a team get hurt in so many positions as they did last year. I don't think people really truly understand that. Rams lost a couple players on the DB side. Who was it? They lost, what's his name?
Williams.
He wore like number 43 or something.
They lost Darius Williams. Yeah.
So, and 49ers got one of the best linebacker cores and with Bosa too.
Yeah,
I
my
think 49ers
first,
offense.
I think my first impression was Niners when I first read this. And that's what I wrote down because I was like, Fred Warner, I mean, Bosa off the edge. They have corners. I mean, that defense is really good. And then I just went through and I was like, the Rams, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald. I was like, I might as well put the Rams. As we move on to the other side of the river, the AFC.
Best of.
Okay. The AFC South. Offensively, I'm going to go Titans. Adding Julio, I mean, I think that puts it over the top. I think Ryan Tannehill's good enough. They have Derrick Henry, one of the best running backs in the league. And then defensively, I went with the Colts. I think DeForest Buckner signing is huge. I think Darius Leonard's one of the best linebackers in the NFL. They have corners. I think the Colts defense is the best in that division.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got
No,
Yeah.
you're good, CJ. That's basically
I-
Blake said it all
I think we all
perfectly.
got Titans Colts.
Titans,
yeah,
Colts.
yeah.
As we agree on the AFC South, I think we agreed on the NFC East and the NFC.
Here we go.
Here we go. The last two divisions,
Woo!
I mean,
Three.
last three divisions are where it gets fun besides, I think, the last one. The AFC East. And I'm the unbiased opinion in this chat, especially when it comes to the AFC East, because I don't have a horse in the race. The offense, I went Buffalo. I don't think anyone has a better quarterback. No one has a better wide receiver. Running back is a question mark for me, but I went Buffalo off Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and that only. I think Buffalo offensively is better than any team. And defensively, I had to go Miami. I think Miami's defense carried that team for a long time last year. I think it's just the same guys pretty much coming back. Miami has proven they can win games defensively as they did against LA last year. I think Miami defensively is the best in this division.
I got Bills offense. Best talent wise overall, and I got Bills defense. We're top 5 defense every year. We had the highest pressure rate last year in the whole league. Best third down defense every single year, year in, year out. And I think talent wise, they don't even compare.
I'll have that argument after.
I got Bills offense and then also got Bills defense. People, when they look at defensive wise, like I'm not hating on, I think defensive side, this could go Patriots, it can go Miami very easy anyway. But I think when it comes down to what are you looking for defense? Yeah, Miami's defense helped them the most because they scored a lot. And that's what made Miami so high. But when it came to points per game or yards per game, Buffalo allowed the least amount. And then when it came to third down percentage, Buffalo led in that. And they lead in that every top 5 every year.
All right, yeah, Buffalo offense. It's not. I don't think it's really close right now in terms of offensive power. That team's got it all to succeed, maybe except a true running back one. But offensive line's good. Wide receiver core's good. QB's good. Can't complain there. Defensively, I have a question mark because I have Miami, but that's only in the sense they retain Xavier Howard.
Yeah.
And from the reports I've read, he wants to stay in Miami. He wants to work it out with Miami and not be traded. And it's just a matter if they keep him. I think that's best one or two rated secondary in the league. The front seven got upgraded tremendously with Bernard McKinney being the new middle linebacker. Jalen Phillips was number 1 DN taken off the board. Emmanuel Ogba's coming off an insane season. And like Josh said, it's a lot closer than a lot of people think because
Patriots, I was pulling up the yards per game. Bills only gave up is 352. Yeah, 352. New England gave up 353. And then Miami was at 367. So they're all very close.
And it just came down to, especially defensively, I think it's a matter of, like I said, go anyway. I just like the Miami secondary a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be weird to see the Patriots back at full strength this year and see what their defense can do.
Yeah, I think talent wise, it's a lot closer. I don't think the Bills blow anyone out talent defensive wise. New England's had Stephon Gilmore for how long? Devin McCourty's back. That team defensively is crazy. In Miami, at the corner position, I don't think anyone has a better duo than Byron Jones and Xavier Howard. at the corner spots. And like Billy said, Emmanuel Ogbah was one of the best ends in the league that didn't get talked about. Christian Wilkins has proven he's a force to be reckoned with on the interior of that line. I
I mean,
think.
they all got talent. Like, the Bills got Tre'Davious White, which is top corner.
Yeah, I'm just
And then
making sure
Bills-
CJ knows that it's
yeah.
not
And then
crazy. Like the Bills,
Bills got
they
like
had
the
to
Well,
put
I
Josh
mean-
Norman on
safety
the
in the
field.
league.
They had
No,
to
it's
put
just
No,
five,
Josh Norman was not a starter.
4 Pro Bowlers every year on the defensive side. What does Miami got?
That doesn't
One,
mean anything. That
Xavier
doesn't mean
Howard?
talent. Pro Bowl is a voting system of popularity, and we
I
all
think
know that.
we got
Bills
the
do
That
better-
not
doesn't
we
own
mean
got-
popularity.
anything.
And
That
Bills
doesn't
don't
mean
own
anything.
popularity.
Pro Bowls mean
I'll put
nothing.
Buffalo in that. I think we got the best safeties out of the whole NFL.
We got the
or
best duo
top
safety. in the
5. I'll give you
league.
that.
Probably
Best
best duo
safety
safety in the
duo.
league.
I mean,
I
I
think we
know
have
it's
the
going to be
better-
biased.
we-
I'm not
we
going to
got
sit here
the-
and argue
yeah.
with a Bills
Wait, we
fan
got the better
about what he
linebacker
thinks about the
core.
Bills and the AFC East. I know I'm not going to win that debate. I think the Miami's talent is right there with anyone else in that division. As we move on to the AFC North, offensively, Josh is going to like it. I'm going to go Ravens. They have a running game. Marquise Brown, they draft receiver. Lamar Jackson's an MVP guy. He can do it every single year. Defensively, I'm going to go Cleveland. I think people don't realize they signed Jadeveon Clowney. They're going to have him and Garrett coming off the edge. Corners, Denzel Ward. They have linebackers. I mean, this team's defensively, Cleveland can win football games. I have Ravens, Cleveland as my 2.
I got Browns and Browns. I think Browns offense is really good. Got one of the best run games. Baker can still throw the ball, and I think Browns defense is top 5 in the league.
The offensively have the Browns, just the most well-rounded out of all the offenses. As much as I love Lamar and the Ravens, I just think that offense over there in Cleveland is the most consistent out of anybody in that division. And then defensively, I did go with the Steelers. I just think that they may not have the greatest talents on that team, but they're always one of the best well-coached defenses that always do their job and do what's necessary. And a little bit of star power over there doesn't help or doesn't hurt either with TJ Watt and Minka Fitzpatrick and all the other guys they have there too.
Blake be confusing me. I thought I was going to sit here and agree with him on this one this week because he's always taught praise in Baker Mayfield and the MVP season he's about to have this year. And I was going to agree with him. I'm not the MVP, but having the best offense. I think I go Browns. And then defensively, I'm going to go Steelers. I think Browns, are going to have a really good defense. I just don't know how top tier it's going to be because how big of an overhaul it was. They did get a lot of good talent. I don't know how good it's going to work together. But we all know Steelers are going to have pretty much a top 3 defense every year, and that's what carries them so far.
I think Baker is going to have a big year, but if I look at the offense as a whole, I think the Ravens are a lot better suited to have the better offense, especially with the offensive line, J.K. Dobbins being back. I think that Ravens offense is leaps, and I think it's top 3, 4 in the NFL. I think running the ball, no one does it like Baltimore. AFC West, I have KC both sides. That's the only. There's
I
no.
have
You can't say it's the
offense.
only.
I have
Patrick, offense, Patrick
No.
Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, nowhere close.
Yeah,
No one has
we're
Travis
not arguing
Kelce.
offense. We're not arguing
Defensively,
offense.
Tyrann Mathieu is safety. I mean, they have linebackers. The pass rush has got a lot better.
They lost
Corners,
Frank
Ladarius
Clark.
Sneed. Frank Clark's getting old. Ladarius Sneed at corner.
No, he got arrested. He's not getting old. He's done.
Frank Clark was old though.
He's in jail.
Moved around teams.
Defense, I took. Oh, go.
Go.
I got
I don't get
Denver. Denver. I think going into this year, they have the best talented-wise defense in that division. Secondary, I think linebackers too, everywhere. And with Chiefs, is like every game it's a shootout with them. So I mean, there's really you don't really have to have defense.
Yeah, I'm rocking with CJ there. I have Chiefs offense. And then Broncos, they're getting older, but they're not too old. They still have young pieces in there. Didn't they just draft a linebacker in the first round?
No, they drafted
Patrick
the
Surtain.
corner.
Patrick
yeah.
Surtain, yeah. And then they signed
Kyle Fuller.
Kyle Fuller. The linebacking core is always really good. Front seven's always good enough. Secondaries is always great. That's just what keeps them close to 500 every year.
If Denver can figure out how to run that nickel defense and just be able to stop the run,
yeah.
ain't nobody throwing on Denver. because they're going to have the best nickel defense in the league. It's just, will they be able to stop the run? But I think I'm more of a stat guy, and I'm going based off stats of which of last year, and I got Chargers on defense. I think we all get Chiefs on offense. That's easy. But I got Chargers on defense just based off yards per game. They beat Kansas City by 50 yards per game last year. I think that's a big deal.
Anyone else have any other topics in the NFL?
Negative Ghost Rider.
Negative.
Oh, yeah, we did.
What?
Nah, I was looking at the list. We already went through all of them.
That's going to wrap up the NFL and wrap up the podcast. Of course, later today, I'm going to post the 91 through 100 players on Insta and Twitter, and then make a TikTok later on. Go follow CBJ Sports. I hope everyone had a good week. I hope everyone has fun watching sports as we're getting closer and closer to college and NFL football. Everyone have fun watching the Olympics throughout the week. We'll see you next week on CBJ Sports. Deuce.
Bye.